Once Upon a Witch's Death is now officially done. Its first run of season 1, all 12 episodes now out for you guys to go and check out. So let's freaking talk about this anime.
呪いが解けるとき、あなたは大切なものを失う。
So now it is a sad day because next Tuesday there is no more Once Upon a Witch's Death episode. It is now finished. The season finale was today. And it's sad because I absolutely adore this anime. I really truly do. And I always look forward to the new episode. And now I don't have a new episode next Tuesday. What am I gonna do? I have to wait until July for when all the new stuff comes out. But let's talk about season 1 because to me, Once Upon a Witch's Death has been phenomenal from start to finish. If you had got me at the start of this series and said, you are going to love this series. This is going to be one of your favorite series of the year. This is going to be a absolute banger. I would have sat there and I would have said to you, yeah, okay. I'm sure there is. I'm sure that this is something that I'm going to be like, yes, this is absolutely brilliant. Here I am 12 episodes later. Season 1 done and dusted. It's the sleeper anime of the year. It is the anime of the year that I am considering picking as the best anime of the year. It is in that conversation. I did do a video of my top 10 current animes of the year right now, and it was number 3 behind Sword of the Demon Hunter and To Be Hero X. It is in that discussion. It is phenomenal from every single standpoint that you want in an anime. Now, the good thing about this is it does not rely on action. It does not rely on insane, awesome, galactical battles. It doesn't rely on a world-ending threat. It doesn't need all that to be great. What it does is it takes a character in Meg Raspberry who finds out she's going to die in a year in a very crazy way, and she must collect tears of joy, of pure joy, to break this curse. And they take that character and they develop that character in this beautiful story of her understanding what it means to love, what it means to be happy, what it means to basically become a human and do things out of the goodness of your own heart, not because you're getting something out, in return, but because it costs absolutely nothing to just be a good person. And it's just such a great narrative. And what they do so well is they decide characters. They don't leave them hanging. They don't just leave them to the side. They develop them as well. And Miss Force becomes a character at the end of this season where you're like, she is such a great character. And her connection with Meg, it is phenomenal on every single level. Now, let's talk about Meg Raspberry. Because Meg Raspberry is one of the best female characters to me in all of anime. I absolutely love this character. She's one of my favorite female characters now. Her story and her arc is brilliant. She goes on this ride of, she's adopted. She's an orphan. Miss Force takes her under her wing. You meet her. She's this immature apprentice. When she finds out that she's going to die, she shifts. And as she goes on this journey of self-reflection and discovery by meeting these people, doing these good deeds out of them, she does go down this rabbit hole where she's like, it's easy. Like, I know what I do. I know how to get all these tears and like stuff like that. And it becomes this moment where she now realizes, oh, I'm doing this for the wrong reasons. I'm doing this for this when I should be doing it for this. And I love that aspect of it. And when you come towards the end of the episode and you just see her determination. There's one episode here with a tree, which was, I believe, I think it was like episode 9 or 10 or something like that, where there's a tree and there's this spirit. And Meg is willing to sacrifice herself to save this tree and save the town. And it's beautiful because she remembers everything that Miss Force has taught her. And, the lessons that she's learned about, it's not about her. It's about being that good person, being that savior that everyone needed in that moment. Doing things and not quitting. You know, you got your mindset, you go all in, you go all the way in, you don't just half-ass it. And it's just this beautiful narrative and character arc that Meg goes on. So then when she does go to that town and she's got to save it at the end in the final 2 episodes, that moment hits you so much harder. And throughout, there are so many great emotional moments, like Meg sitting next to the old lady. Oh, it hits you so hard when the town is calling her the Witch of Lapis. And you're sitting there and it just hits you. It's so beautiful. And then you come to the season finale where Meg finds out about her actual history, who her parents were, where she comes from, what actually happened, how Elle was the actual person that caused all this drama, and her connection with Miss Forst, and how Miss Forst is atoning for the sins of her other daughter Elle by raising Meg. It is just phenomenal. She is just such a great character, man. And then you go into Miss Force, who, you know, when you meet her, you're like, oh, okay, she's just that typical strong ass mage witch, you know, that is a. But as you watch her with Meg and she watches Meg and you find out the story of it, how she saved Meg, you know, her sacrificing her thumb to save Meg from the devil. And then you come to the moment at the end there where she's like, losing one thumb's not enough to atone for what Elle did. And you know, she's putting all this burden on her own shoulders because of what her daughter did. How she's like, look, I'm willing to forgive you and accept you so that you're not lonely. And this is where you start to see the contrast of Miss Force and how her teachings and her, you know, thought process and everything about her is now reflected through Meg. And Meg is the same because she has this role model in Miss Force who is projecting all of that onto her. And she just becomes this great character. And you know, you think she's cold and that, and then you get to the end when she's saying goodbye to Meg and she sees little Meg and then she hugs her. And Meg, you know, feels the love, and you can truly feel that Miss Force loves Meg and will do anything that she has to do to keep Meg safe. But at the same time, she understands that this is something Meg has to do. And Miss Force recommends her, Jack recommends her to go and see her homeland that we find out was very advanced with military and stuff, but wanted to kill all the magic and wanted to kill all the mages. So she's going to go there and check it out. But Miss Force is accepting that now Meg has to go and do this. And I love that about her. She's just absolutely fantastic. And then you throw in the other mage as well, like Sophie, man. When you meet Sophie, she's this cold-hearted young witch who is one of the 7 mages, but Meg changes her and she starts to become very fond of Meg. And that moment where she starts crying because she thought Meg was going to die, it just shows you the effect that Meg is having on everyone else. And you know, it's funny as well. This series is a lot. It has its comedy elements as well. Meg is hilarious. There are other. Sophie is like that cold, funny, stoic character that will say something with this just no expressional face, but it's hilarious. It's just brilliant. It truly is. And even with the magic, the animation was absolutely gorgeous. And you know, this story of Meg trying to collect all these teardrops is fantastic, but it's the characters themselves that draw you in here. Like, I promise you, if you guys have not watched this yet, watch it. Watch it. It is so freaking good from start to finish. I loved every aspect of it. It's animated beautifully. The music is fantastic. The opening is great. The ending is great. Everything about Once Upon a Witch's death was 9.5 out of 10 the whole entire way. It was just, it delivered every single episode. Emotionally, there were moments where I had watery eyes. I had watery eyes throughout because it just hits you. I mean, they had an episode where they made me care about a freaking tree. I was getting emotional over this freaking tree. A tree. Yeah, that's how good the writing is here. It's phenomenal. You guys should watch it. But if you have watched it, let me know your thoughts on season 1. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you not? I want to hear your thoughts. Smash it in the comment section below. Smash that like button for me. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.